E aí, gurizada, eu tô aqui com a Pilar Pueblita, que é gerente de Relações Públicas da Nintendo of America para a América Latina. Pilar, it's nice to chat with you again. Thank you for your time.
No, thank you. It's amazing that I had the opportunity to talk to you with your audience. Thank you for the time.
Thank you. So, my first question is we, the Brazilian fans, are experiencing a very different moment this year with more games being released in Brazilian português. And finally, the announcement that the next mainline Pokemon title will also launch in our language. We spoke about this on our last chat last year. So, however, we still occasionally see titles without Portuguese support, like the new Tomodachi Life, for example. What do you think is still missing for Nintendo of America to ensure that all games are localized for Brazil?
Well, you actually probably remember that we asked you guys for patience. So we told you guys back on the years when our library of localized games were very limited, that we are trying to increase, that it's going to be a process. And that's what we are seeing here. So Nintendo, it's seeing Brazil as a big opportunity and a way to show this prioritization and opportunity that we have in the countries offering games in Brazilian Portuguese. So I would like to focus more on what is coming and what is localizing Brazilian Portuguese. As you mentioned, the Pokemon games, Eventos and Pokemon Ondas, that they are going to be localizing Brazilian Portuguese. This is a huge announcement that Pokemon made in the latest Nintendo Present. And from the Nintendo side, we are going to release in just a few weeks from now, Yoshi and the Mysterious Book, that is going to be released on May 21st. So it's a process. We are still, working on that. Of course, as you mentioned, there are still some games that they are not localized, but we are trying to increase the library. And with the games that I mentioned, this is a way to show you how we are going to, how we want to support and keep working on that.
Yes, and speaking of well received reactions of Brazilian fans, we had another recent change here in Brazil, the price adjustment in relation to the dollar. This had been a long standing request and was very well received by the community. So, what changed internally that allowed Nintendo of America to reduce prices in Brazil even amid global economic instability?
Well, as I mentioned before, the prices of the Nintendo products are multifactorial. There is not a formula. It's like different factors that apply to the final prices. But as I mentioned too, we are looking to find flexibility on prices for everyone in every region and country where we have official operations at, as it is Brazil. So this adjustment on prices, it's part of that example. It's multifactorial. We are looking to offer the best ways for the fans in their countries. We are very grateful for that opportunity.
Nice. And the Nintendo Switch 2 is about to complete its first year on the market. And since its announcement, we have seen several global changes with economic impacts. What have been Nintendo's main takeaway from this period, especially regarding the simultaneous launch of the console and all physical game releases here in Brazil?
Well, I'm going to go back again. Brazil is a big opportunity for us. It's the biggest opportunity in the Latin American region. So we are working with our, partners in distribution in Brazil, and we are, focusing on bringing those games on the first day of the release here in the physical version in Brazil. Of course, they are also available in the digital version in the eShop. And the big example about this commitment, about this interest that we have for the Brazilian community and the Brazilian market, it's bringing the Nintendo Switch 2 system on day one of the release, and we saw it. So we are going to continue working. We are going to continue updating what we want to do. But I'm going to go back to telling you that this is just a way to show how important and how big opportunity is Brazil for us.
Speaking of the peculiarities of Brazilian market, it's a huge market, and I would like to ask you, what is the current role of the original Nintendo Switch in an emerging marketing like Brazil? Is Nintendo also planning announcements and promotions aimed at players who are just now discovering this gaming universe, especially with the boost from the new Super Mario movie?
Well, the Nintendo Switch system is still having a lot of support, not only in Brazil, it is actually globally. And you probably remember that just a few weeks ago, we released Tomodachi Life that you mentioned. And this is a game for Nintendo Switch system. You also probably know that in July 2nd, we will have the release of Reading Heaven Groove, which is a game for the Nintendo Switch. So we are seeing new releases for the platform. We are seeing new releases for the system. They are going to arrive to Brazil too. So the system still has a momentum for us, and we are going to continue supporting. What happened regarding to promotions? It's more to I'm going to defer to the retailers that they are selling. They are actually putting the system on their stores or the digital store, and they are offering different promotions. This is more a question for them. But in terms of content, Nintendo Switch games has a vast of library. There's something for any kind of gamers in the library of the Nintendo Switch system. So we are still having new releases for it. We are supporting Mario Galaxy and Super Mario Galaxy and Super Mario Galaxy 2, which is for Nintendo Switch. And we are going to welcome Reading Heaven Groove, which I don't know if you had the opportunity to play that franchise in the past, but it's a very fun rhythm game that it's actually going to be available for Nintendo Switch.
Nice. It will be my first time trying this franchise. And to wrap things up, I would like to ask you something more like for your experience here in Brazil. You and other Nintendo of America executives have been attending major gaming and pop cultures events in Brazil, just like gamescom latam, over the past few years. What kind of feedback do you usually hear from fans and content creators about Nintendo's current moment in the country?
Well, first of all, we are very happy and excited every time we're here in Brazil, the passion. And I'm telling you, just walking around the booth, hearing a Gamescom, we saw it in C6P Brazil in December, or last year in Brazil Game Show, we are seeing people smiling. You know, the mission of Nintendo is putting a smile of people's faces. And it's very great. I feel very grateful, and it's really good to know that my job is bringing that level of smiles for the families here in Brazil. So first of all, thank you for, the kind reception and all the reactions that the family in Brazil they have for Nintendo. And yes, of course, we are getting requests and feedback, but we are very happy to attend them in a sort of way too. I remember I have been in Brazil on events as Brazil Game Show since 2019. So it's been a long way since now we are having a booth with the majority of the games localized in Brazilian Portuguese, because that was the main request from the community some years ago. Now we are, informing them that the games are available in Brazilian Portuguese. They are asking us to be more events. And we had, you mentioned, Brazil Game Show, CCXP here in Gamescom, but we also celebrate the mall tour in 5 cities in the last holiday season. And we closing that opportunity with just Mario Day celebration. So there's a way to coming together, to getting together with the families, with the consumers, and we are more than grateful with all the passion and the good reception that the community in Brazil are having for the Nintendo brand, IP, systems, games, characters, etc. Yeah.
It's always great to have you here, have Nintendo of America here in Brazil at these events. So Pilar, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you for your passion. Thank you for the passion of your audience. It's really, really always nice to stay here in Brazil.
Please take the floor and send a message to Brazilian fans.
All the Nintendistas, thank you so much for all your passion, your love for Mario, for Nintendo characters, for Nintendo games, and I hope you keep enjoying your Nintendo Switch or your Nintendo Switch 2 systems. Muito obrigada. Bye.
Thank you, Pilar. Pessoal, então, se inscrevam aqui no canal, curtam esse vídeo e continuem vendo a nossa cobertura da Gamescom Latam, que tem muito mais conteúdo vindo por aí.